nothing comes back faster than orchard grass that I know of.
Yeah. No, this is some beautiful stuff.
John's appetite.
My appetite comes back faster. Yeah, that's it. She'll be here all night, ladies and gentlemen. She's behind the camera. But in my ever I almost said my ever-living quest.
Oh, the one legume that we see around here, especially with the heavier soils, is going to be, I'm having a brain fart of it, the little yellow ones. I don't remember.
Okay.
I have a good memory, but it's short.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining me today. I'm down here with Jerry and Jennifer in my quest to always learn more and do better for my own cattle. I got to know Jennifer over the last couple years. She's just a highly intelligent, wonderful beef gal, fun to bounce ideas off of, and we were talking about some stuff and that ideas that I wanted to try, and she's like, "You gotta," that's because that's her. And so she's like, "You got to come down here because we're doing a lot of that stuff, and we've been doing the grasses, and that's where I want to get better educated." And so I'm just down here for the day, visiting with Jerry and Jennifer and learning about grasses. But give us a little background of your operation here and what you got going on.
Well, we have a farm that was started by my grandfather in the early 1900s, and it's grown from 80 acres up to around 450. And it was basically a dairy farm until my body wore out, and then I started doing beef. We have most of the cattle now are Angus and Simmental, and we're breeding with registered bulls mostly.
Yep. So right now there's about 150 cows. Those are going to be commercial Angus-based cows. Along with that, we run a smaller herd of registered Simmental animals, and we use registered bulls out on these commercial animals. Jerry will sell the feeder calves, as well as we do run between 15 and 20 fat steers around here too that we sell off the farm for to our customers. It's been a great opportunity to see that because we can see what our calves, those Sim Angus crosses and our other registered crosses have, and see those actually come to market and see them through the whole process.
So are you mostly rotational grazing?
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes we keep the cattle on there a little bit longer than we like under certain conditions. I have one pasture where it's not conducive to breaking up, and I have my yearlings over there that are pastured, and they might be on there for a month, and then we take them off for a month, and then we'll put them back on for a month.
Okay. And so we got one out here. It's
Garrison creeping foxtail. It likes heavy wet ground. This field we're on here is muck type soil that has been drained. It's very high in organic matter right here. Garrison creeping foxtail is a species that was recommended to me by the USDA probably back in the 70s, I think it was. It needs to be rotationally grazed. You can't keep cattle on it all the time. It likes heavy, wet, very productive soils. It can't take as much water as wheat canary grass, but it is more palatable and the cattle like it better.
So you had cattle on here this spring.
Until July.
Until July. And then you took a hay cutting.
Right.
And now you've got a full crop. Again.
That's right.
On a drought year, this muck ground is doing pretty good for you.
Yes. Well, if you look behind us, there's swamp that hasn't been pastured, and you know what the water table is here.
Yeah. The water table on this field is probably at our foot level at a normal time. So how is that grass? You got a mix going on out here.
Yeah, right.
So do you like a mix of cool and warm seasons, or
I don't have any warm season grass.
Okay.
Here
Okay.
that I know of.
Okay.
Typically, on a hay field where I have seeded orchard grass and Garrison creeping foxtail, The orchard grass will dominate on the higher ground. The garrison crop foxtail will dominate in the low areas.
Okay, nice.
And it grows quite tall. It's not quite as tall as reed canary, but it comes close.
Yeah, and you said it heads out very early?
It heads out very early. It heads out earlier than the orchard grass. It shoots up a spike, but most of the leaves are near the ground, and they'll go around the head and search out and eat the leafy grass on the ground.
But how about the regrowth of it?
It regrows quite good.
Okay.
Probably not as fast as orchard grass. Orchard grass will come back faster.
Okay.
But I like to have a mix. We don't see much legumes here, much clover, because it's wet or heavy ground.
Oh, okay.
As we get up in the backside here, where it's a little bit higher, there we'll see more clovers.
Yeah, yep. Right behind us where we come in, there was a little ridge, and there was very thick clover. So we're in a sorghum field, and this is kind of a fun one. You're telling me about you put, well, for one, the sorghum is doing silage sorghum like this is kind of new to your neighborhood down here.
Right. I haven't done sorghum this way before. I used a foraged sorghum seed. I used my grain drill. I have a 10-foot drill, 6-inch spacings. I put the seed down the 2 rows on each end, and also the 2 rows in the center. So I have twin rows, 6 inches apart, then 48 inches in between, and then the other set of twin rows. Then we overseeded that with our mix of grasses and clovers and a little bit of alfalfa. I'm not sure how the seeding has come through because of the dry year. The sorghum obviously did okay. So we're going to chop this for silage and feed it to the cows and the young growing cattle.
This is a good year for the sorghum.
Yes.
Not a really good year to get them legumes and them grasses going. Right.
This was planted about the 7th to 10th of June, as I recall. And the sorghum needs to have a pretty warm soil to germinate. They say you should have the soil up into the mid-60s for a good germination.
Okay. Well, it worked. The sorghum, there's no doubt the sorghum worked. You'd probably try it again next year?
I may try again next year. Maybe I might tweak it. Maybe sometime I might put in oats, take that off of silage or hay, and then come back with the sorghum.
Okay.
I might have a little better weed control then.
Yep.
I don't know.
And I think in our climate, we could have that oats crop off by the time the soil gets to good condition to be drilling the sorghum.
Right.
We just got that cooler climate. It is what it is. But so you'll have a corn head. You got a normal 2-row corn head that you'll come through.
I bought an old chopper with a 1-row corn head.
Oh, okay, but you got the you got the row crop head that you'll take each row of sorghum.
Right.
And then all the green that's here then after chopping, are you coming back to graze it?
I'll be pasturing it this fall after I get the sorghum off.
Okay.
And hopefully next spring also.
So this one I'm really excited about because he's got the Cura clover in this field, and you're only the second farmer in my lifetime that I've met that has it, and I'm super excited because I want to get it going on my farm someday, because with our row crops we can have I learned at the University of Minnesota is that we can have Cura clover and row crops in the same field and have a field that can't die. And so how are you utilizing it, and what do you got going on with it?
Well, I heard about it quite a few years ago. This was a field which is pretty low in fertility right here because they built the road through the swamp and they took the topsoil and stuff off this land and used it to fill in the swamp, and it was very unproductive for a while. I got some Cura clover seeded out here, Kura clover originates in Russia. It's extremely winter hardy. It's different than other clovers in that it propagates with underground rhizomes, so it keeps spreading itself around, and now I have a little bit of it pretty much all over. This particular area here has pretty dense in it. The cattle like to congregate here. It's because of the shade. It's one of their favorite species. When they get out here, they'll take the Kura clover down and then work on the other grasses and stuff later. But I'm very happy to have it. It's one of my best pastured species I have.
So when did you start throwing seed out here?
I really don't remember. I'm an old guy and time gets away from me, but it's probably been 15 to 20 years ago.
Oh, really? Cool. And you just broadcast it.
I just threw it around and the cattle worked it in, and that's not the recommended way of doing it because it's pretty expensive seed to be doing that.
Very, very expensive right now. But you can't kill it.
Right.
So you've grazed it. I mean, the cows with the drought year, you had to push your acres a little harder, I would imagine, and so
Right.
they've got this pasture mowed pretty down low, but you have no fear of having clover next year.
No, I expect we're going to be taking them off here in a day or a few days, but this should have another month to regrow now and put some carbohydrates back into the root system.
Okay. And it, like any other clover, it's got good feed quality, good palatability.
Excellent. They love it.
Okay. You've never tried to bale it or anything?
We have baled it.
Oh, you have?
We baled first crop off from this because I didn't need it as pasture.
Okay. And how'd it bale?
Great. Kura clover doesn't have the pubescence on the stem like red clover. The leaf looks similar to red clover, but the stem is completely smooth, no hairs in the stem, so it isn't as dusty as red clover would be.
Okay. Did it dry? It dried down good?
With the grass involved here, it did. We didn't have any trouble getting it dry, especially this year.
Yes. That's even more exciting because I didn't know we could bale it and make a good dry feed out of it. Yeah, I'm excited. The only thing right now is the last time we looked at it, it was like $10 or $15 a pound for seed, and you were putting down 8 to 10 pounds an acre, they said. And so you're $100, $150 an acre, but if it can't ever die, what a fantastic crop. And it's kind of neat in these clusters. You can almost feel a little bit of cushion to the ground, and I got a video from several years ago, from 2018, from the University of Minnesota, where they had just a thick crop of it, and the roots, it was so thick, the roots were starting to come out of the ground, and the worm castings. Holy cow, the worms in that ground, and that ground was like a cake. I mean, that's what my ground needs, is something like that. And so, yeah, no, this is kind of pretty. Girls and their cows. Girls and their cows. Karen's got her magic petting gloves on, and Jennifer, she brings the horse treats, the molasses and apple treats, so she can spoil her cows just like Karen. So you got two troublemakers over there. But yeah. Jerry, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it, and for having us down here.
Nice to meet you, John.
Yes.
I've heard a lot about you. Nothing bad.
No, okay, all good, I hope. I paid her well to say the good things. But no, I appreciate you taking your time and offering us some insight and education. And the animals look gorgeous. The crops are pretty cool to see what other people are experimenting with. And this is why I do not like social media, other than the fact that this camera has introduced me to so many farmers in the last 5 years that I am learning so much, and it's so neat to see how everybody is doing stuff. I've got notebooks and notebooks full of information I don't even know what I'm going to do with yet, but someday. So yeah, thanks again.